And now it's my honor to introduce my friend, Jon Stewart, okay? Jon Stewart was recently honored with the Mark Twain Award and is such a consummate performer, he's equally excited to be doing this. Jon Stewart, everyone!
Jon Stewart.
Pete Davidson.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks to Pete Davidson. You know, there are not a lot of comics who can come right from a duck blind to the show. and still kill. I'm here to induct someone that I have great respect for. I had the pleasure of knowing for a little bit, Mr. George Carlin. Let us begin. Shit. Piss. Fuck. Sorry, scroll up. Cunt. You don't hear enough applause for that. Yeah. Cocksucker. I see where the crowd's at. Motherfucker. Oh, you're gonna love the last one. Tits. Piss has got some work to do. Cunt and tits are killing it. 1972, George Carlin uttered the 7 words you cannot say on television. Shit, piss, cunt, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. I was 9. And I fell in love. I didn't know any of it, what it meant, but the tits bit. Cheese tits. It was then that George Carlin established himself as a counterculture hero. But it wasn't just about saying the words, he had a point to it. It was the absurdity that these 7 words carried power when they were just words. They weren't deeds, they weren't thoughts, they weren't bad intentions, they were just words. George Carlin was arrested, Lenny Bruce was arrested, they were sued, they were taken to court, they were brought in on charges for saying words. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 50 years ago. Today, those would be the titles of the next 7 Netflix shows. That was his moment. You know, we're a fortunate group, comedians. Even more rare is when a comedian has a moment in the culture. When the times somehow meet the talent, and there's an alchemy that creates greatness. That was George Carlin in the 1970s. He was everything. But even more rare, almost unheard of, is a comedian who gives up making a living on the road to try and become a legend of the time. And that's where George Carlin's courage and bravery, and not enough is said about that. This cat started in the 1960s wearing the sharkskin suit and the thin tie and going on Merv Griffin and doing the impressions, and he was making a living. His wife, Brenda, his young daughter, Kelly, he bought a house. They were making it. And he was empty. He wasn't himself. He wasn't actualized as an artist. And so he fucking threw it all away. The idea that you would give up the dream of making a living and supporting your family, they put their house in escrow because he felt he wasn't being himself, and he grew a beard and he grew out his hair and he threw on some jeans and he started doing bits about Muhammad Ali getting thrown to the wolves for not allowing himself to be drafted in Vietnam. And the bit was basically, Muhammad Ali beats people up for a living. And what he said was, I'll beat people up, but I don't want to kill them. And the government said, if you're not going to kill them, we're not going to let you beat them up. He didn't give a shit. He just went out there. He was an artist. I was fortunate enough in the 90s to become friendly with George. And I finally got a chance to go out and spend some time with him out in Los Angeles. I was going to interview him for a special. He was celebrating 40 years in comedy. We were doing it in Aspen, Colorado, because generally the people that produce comedy shows have the wisdom to take a guy who's had 4 heart attacks and have him perform where there's very little oxygen. That's why I don't do the HBO is a joke festival. I do the Netflix is a joke special. Look at you people. Displaying brand loyalty. That's very exciting. You know, in his later years, everybody said Carlin got real dark. You know, he cheered for the demise of the world, that he became nihilistic. But it wasn't that at all, it was disappointment. I'd never been with somebody who had such empathy for the human condition. And I think his material in later years was just a reflection of the fact that he was fucking truly heartbroken about what we were doing to each other and what we were doing to ourselves. But the interesting thing to me was, for a counterculture hero like George Carlin, he really was a blue-collar worker. He'd go to his office at 9 a.m. and he'd sit and write. I mean, I've never met a person who smoked that much pot and worked that hard. He would write his jokes, and then he would get out the weed, or as he would say to me when I was sitting in his office, it's punch-up time. George Carlin died in 2008. 2006 or 7, Twitter was born. If you go on Twitter every now and again, George Carlin is trending on a platform that he really didn't have any idea what it was. But he'll just pop up randomly when weird shit goes down in the world. Because as a culture, we miss his voice. And that, for a comedian, is the greatest honor you can give. We miss him. We miss his voice. We want to know what he would think. Comedy's ephemeral, man. Almost nobody survives their moment. He survived 5 decades as a trenchant observer, an analyst, an absurdist, and a comedian, and a friend, and a father, and a husband, and a humanitarian. He was incredible, and I can't tell you how often I miss him, and how much I think about him, and how grateful I was for even the little time that we had to spend together. Ladies and gentlemen, George Carlin.
George Carlin.